Hello and welcome to Northeast Portland. We're here at Merlo Field. I'm your broadcaster for today's game, Adam Sussman. An excellent game on the docket. Gonzaga versus the University of Portland. Two teams that are currently tied for third place in the WCC. You see on your screen both of them 2-1. Not a surprise for the University of Portland. They were picked to finish third in the WCC, while for Gonzaga, this is not the team of years past. They have not beaten the University of Portland since 2015. The men in purple are going to want to keep it that way. Gonzaga, while picked to finish last, have picked up results their way. A lot of good games for Gonzaga. Their head coach, which we'll talk about during the broadcast, Aaron Lewis, is excellent. But you know what's even better? The University of Portland beating number 16 Loyola Marymount last week on the 23rd. It was the first game after a 12-day break, and they picked up a much-needed ranked win that takes them into the top 50 of the RPI. They went out, they pretty much control their own destiny if you're the University of Portland. Nick Carlin-Voigt trying to make his third career NCAA appearance as the University of Portland's head coach. We'll talk about lineups and players to watch after the break, but first, the national anthem here at Merlo. Back here at Merlo Field, formalities are over with. Players on the line, we're getting ready to play soccer. Let's introduce the starting lineup for the Gonzaga Bulldogs. They sit at 7-6, 2-1 in the WCC, on track for their best season since 2013. See the lineup, it looks to be midfield heavy, possibly a 3-5-2. We'll have to inform you once the game starts on that one. But a team that has strung together a lot of good results. Had a thrilling 3-2 overtime victory against San Francisco on the 23rd, just how like Portland did against LMU, where they were number 16. Portland, Griffith Senga, who is in the starting lineup for the University of Portland. A rare start for him, but the way he's been playing WCC Offensive Player of the Week, you got to throw him in there. Now, let's look at the University of Portland's lineup. It's going to be a 4-4-2, and based on form, it's hard to argue with this lineup. Only a couple of changes from last game. RJ Stretch comes back in at his fullback position. Delence Pierre, who we'll talk about in a second, remains at center back with Brian O'Hara. Rodwell on the bench for this one. In midfield, Christopher Cortez and Jake Arteaga make up the central two of the 4-4-2. Out wide, looks like it's going to be Nava and Hendell, with Griffith Senga and Alejandro Pereira, who scored a hat trick the last time we were here against San Diego. He's sure to want to get on the board again. Let's go through the players to watch for both teams. Gonzaga wearing their white uniforms. We have a look at Demetrius Kagaya here. One of the best players in the WCC so far this season. 4 goals, 3 assists. He's most likely going to be WCC first team this year if he keeps on the current track. Last year was all WCC second team. Has started all 12 games, 19 shots. He's clinical, has scored on a third of his shots this season, has played nearly every minute, 808 this campaign. He's going to be a speedy player on the front line. Be sure to watch out for him. For Portland, we're going to go to look at the defense. Pierre. Often, no matter if you're a middle school player or in the MLS, it's hard to come back from injury. Pierre has been an embodiment of that. He was missing for the opening part of the season due to injury, came back against Seattle, and since has been back to his all WCC caliber of play. The junior is slotted in the central defense. You know he's doing a good job when he displaced Rodwell there, who was a rock this season. Portland, top 25 in the country in goals against average. He's a big reason why I recently played every single second against Loyola Marymount in their win, and because of that, he was named top drawer soccer team of the week, an honor that Kevin Bonilla actually got earlier this season. And Portland, man, from national to WCC domestic, they've locked up the awards this previous week. Jermaine Singa and George Tasaris both earned Offensive Player of the Week and Defensive Player of the Week in the WCC. George Tasaris, 6 saves against LMU. Third time this season he's had 6 saves in a win. That's awfully impressive. This may be one of the few times this season, though, that Gonzaga have a keeper to oppose George Tasaris. Johan Garbe has 13 games this season, all 13. Has one of the best save percentages in the conference at .759. Played every minute this season. He's improving. Last season was all WCC freshman team. Had 8 saves in a loss to Oregon State and a narrow loss to Portland last season. Gonzaga is going to start with the ball. They'll be attacking left to right in their white unis with red stripes across the middle. Portland, a primarily purple kit with some black along the left shoulder down to the mid-torso. Thanks for joining us here on the WCC Network and on Portland CW. Sure to be a good game against 2 teams tied in the WCC. Who's going to win the grudge match? We're going to have to wait and see. Portland 7-5 on the season as Gonzaga unsuccessfully switches play as they come under an early press. Looks to be Hendell and Pereira the front man. And Griffith Sanga is going to fall down into the midfield. Hendell usually plays on the left, but he's awfully versatile. Last time we were here, not to say that any opponent isn't worthy of the Pilots, but San Diego did not put up much of a fight. Somehow that ball stays in play on the far side of the pitch. Hit into Pereira, and now out wide. Can't get past one. It's going to stay in play. Pereira gets there. It's going to be a slippery grass. That ball not moving awfully fast. For those watching, it was an incredibly rainy day in Portland, Oregon. Just before kickoff, it led up in time for this game. Sanga was offside, but Bonilla was on, so he's going to receive the ball. Here comes the cross inside a low one, not great. Give it back out wide for Sanga for a second chance. Down the line, can't find Bonilla. Good shot. Portland flirting with the outside of the box, goes into the heart of the midfield. This is the first time Aaron Lewis, the head coach for Gonzaga, has been a head coach against the University of Portland. He's a lifelong Oregonian, went to Corbin University. Almost a mistake there by Pierre. Gets the ball just in time, no foul. Although an attacker is down. Looks like Leon sits holding his left ankle. Pierre got there in time. Arteaga gives him a helping hand. Ball over the top is Hendell on. No flag yet, and now it comes. You like to see the early run by Luke Hendell, showing the energy early in the 3rd minute, but had to halt his run just a smidge. Portland showing a healthy fan base here today. You know it's good when in the Pacific Northwest you get a rainy, crappy day. but the fans still come to support. Trailblazers are playing today, Winterhawks playing today, even the Portland Timbers are playing today, but still a great fan base for the Portland Pilots. While certainly not their highest ranked game of this season, Gonzaga sits just inside the top 100 of the RPI. In terms of WCC standings, this is a massive game. WCC not the biggest conference in the world. Gonzaga, although picked to finish last, currently sit 2-1 in conference. Their loss to LMU, but they've beaten San Diego and San Francisco by a combined score of 6-4. Ball inside the center circle, passes the halfway line, goes either side of it. Portland trying to get out of a sticky situation, use their defense as the outlet. All the way back to the safe feet of George Tasaris. Tasaris sending it all the way into the opposing final third. Almost a through ball for Hendell. His position he scored against San Diego. Nava, capable of playing both flanks, finds himself out left. What can RJ Stretch do to stop the Gonzaga break? On October 9th, the last time I had the privilege of calling a Portland game was their last home game. It was the most goals Portland has scored this season, as Pierre is there to mop up and send it away. Call it 10 to 15 yards away from the near side corner flag. As I was saying, against San Diego, Alejandro Pereira, who was goalless and didn't have an assist this season, scored 3. And against LMU, he even picked up the assist on the game winner. Bonilla was directly involved in 3 goals from his crosses and pass. 1 created an own goal, 1 created a penalty, and 1 was just a straight up good old assist. Hendell gets past 1, looked like he may have gotten fouled by the second, still has the ball, shoulder-to-shoulder action, and booed away by the neon cleats of Angelo Colfo, who is the captain for Gonzaga. One of the few Washingtonians on the Spokane-based team. Through ball almost perfect to Pereira. Sango was with him as well. Progressive touch inside, sits, playing it through. O'Hara's there again. Deja vu to the Lens-Pierre play about a minute earlier. 6 minutes of action, pretty even affair so far. Portland were shy of goals early in the season. That's going to be almost a boneheaded offsides there by Gonzaga. Portland played the high line. Portland, who was shy of goals early in the season, still not great goals per game numbers, but in their last 2 home games, they've scored 8 combined. Had a dramatic 3-2 Coffee Cup win against Seattle, where they were down 2-0 in the span of 40 minutes. Had an excellent second half. George Tasaris became the first Portland goalie to have an assist since 2006 on his long ball, which found the head of Cambridge and on to Frankel. That 3-2 victory paired with the 5-1 against San Diego has made Nick Carlin-Voigt's side one of the better teams at home in the WCC so far this season. Gonzaga alternatively have a losing record at home, but when they're away like they are tonight, 4-1. Don't often see their alternative in college soccer. Luger Field hasn't been their best friend this season, but we'll see if they can be friendly to Merlot. Pereira finds it locked up in his cleats, fending off 1, has it on his left foot, sends it across, but a good block ensues. Credit to number 18, Sebastian Karlholm on the defense. A Butte College transfer, originally from Sweden. He's played over 1,000 minutes this season. He's played a part in 4 clean sheets this campaign, 3 in a row to start the year as well. It's a Gonzaga side that is no joke. Lost 5 in a row to Portland, but this you really feel is their best chance to change that tide. From 2012 to 2015, Gonzaga won 4 of 5 against UP. They're trying to get back to that trend. Hendell, low corner in, good chest out. And then no risk taken at Kagaya. Kagaya was our player to watch today from Madison, Wisconsin. Takes a ton of shots. Interestingly enough, if this is wrong, blame GoZags.com. The only person in the world with his name. Over 7.5 billion people, he's the only one on the pitch at Merlot Field. Long thrown by RJ Stretch, almost treated like a corner. Hendell the tallest to it, and now cleared away. George Tasaris, this is why a goalie plays well off his line when the ball is in that position. Plays the sweeper keeper role to Pierre. Stretch down the line. Really good play by Portland. Not a ton of horizontal passing. Portland's been very direct so far. Bonilla open out right. That's who it gets to. Inside the box. It's standing still. Outside. Stretch has it. Plays it out left. Nava back into the box. Almost there, but fluffed by Hendell. Garibay off his line. Keeper from Stockton, California. Does a good job. Here's a replay of that look. Just not a good left-footed effort by Hendell. They'll start 4 of the last 5 games. Of the frenzy of goals against San Diego. Hendell is probably my favorite, a beautiful chip with the right foot. Credited with the 3rd goal of the night. There's Gonzaga looking to maintain possession. Attack, look at they're lining up in a 3-3-4. Hits the back of Pierre's noggin and going back inside to O'Hara. Played on through to Bonilla. Bonilla has Hendell inside. Stops instead. Excuse me, that's Senga. Christoforos Cortez. Can he stretch it out to Stretch? No, he cannot. The hit, a little bit too much mustard, goes out of play. Gonzaga taking their time in the restart in the 11th minute. Bulldogs and Pilots at 0. Thanks for watching on the WCC Network or Portland CW, both great avenues to do so. And Carlin Voigt giving some instructions on the sideline. The coach opposite of him on the touchline, Aaron Lewis, went to Corbin University right here in Oregon. Became the first ever NAIA player drafted to the MLS. Didn't play much in Dallas, but did make his professional soccer career name in the Indoor Soccer League as Gonzaga just keeps it in. He was an assistant since 2019 for Gonzaga. After 6 seasons as head coach at Corbin, won a state championship in Oregon as well. Coached for Timbers U23 as Artiega cleans up the poor boot out by George Tasaris. All in all, Aaron Lewis has done an excellent job with this Gonzaga team. In the 3 seasons beforehand, they had 8 wins, 8 total wins. 8-33-4 in 3 seasons. And if they win tonight, they'll tie that total in 1 season, the first under Lewis. Well, for Nick Carlin Voigt, last month he got over his 50th career victory in the Coffee Cup. Chip ball through, advantage was played. Gonzaga not too thrilled about it. Number 23, Noah Bushy, letting it be known. Here's another look at the play. Nava, ball was there first by Bushy, but ultimately just a tabletop afterwards. Bushy started all but 1 game this season. He's looking for his first points of the midfielder. The hometown Spokane, Washington kid. transferred back after attending New Mexico University. Either team's first set piece chance of the night in the 13th minute. Cameron Nava right now, the man who drew it. Hendell hovering over the ball on his right. Portland players exactly 18 yards away from the goal line. Not a great effort by Hendell. Not sure if he was going for a powerful shot or just trying to find the path of a player. A streaking Gonzaga player down right was not found. Bulldogs playing within the left, dribble it inside. Chip ball through, Delence Pierre, the only one there. The more action we've seen from the Bulldogs, looking more and more like a 3 at the back. While Portland staying put in their 4-4-2. Very structured in defense while more fluid in attack. Good touch to inside. What a save. Not sure if that hit off the bar after the gloves over George Tasaris, but that was coming 100 miles per hour right at his orange gloves. Here's another look at it. Demetrius Kagaya with the right-footed shot. That is an incredible save by George Tasaris. All in all, not the best location by Kagaya, but still, the reactions to put your mitts over your head in a split-second notice is a great one. And then he catches off the corner to put the cherry on top. Can Portland counter the other way? If they are, it's going to be a one-man counter, as it's only Nava right now. Does perhaps the best he can. A yellow is going to come from it. Good job by Sebastian Nava. Here's Nava. Had Sanger running with him to the right, but about 10 yards behind. Feltz, the man coming behind him. Ultimately just put himself between the ball and the man. Caleb Kiner was the man who picked up the yellow card from the Dowls right here in Oregon. Heavy touch by Hendell. Goes up to try to make up for his mistake. Caleb Kiner played 8 games for Timbers 2 right here in Portland. Played in USL League 2 with Timbers U23. Also a pretty dang good basketball player at Dallas High School. A couple of inactives for Portland today. Jalen Rodwell, a center back who started 11 games of this season. Hendell, a lot of green grass with him. He's going to take it himself. Still has it on his left foot. Shot. Blocked. Nava edge of the box. Bonilla won it far out wide. Christopher Cortez, he's going to try to find Bonilla. But Garibay is there. Back to the inactives for Portland. Perhaps the biggest one, in my opinion, Brandon Cambridge, who offers a load of pace on the wing or up top later in this game. If this game is still knotted up at 0 or 1 all, or Portland's down a goal, they could desperately use him. No Rodwell, no Cambridge. Odenhall, who started the last couple of games, is on the bench. RJ Stretch took over the fullback starting role today. 16th minute, Gonzaga have had the best chance of the game so far, but possession has mostly gone Portland's way. Dorsey dropping back from the front line to link up play. Now all the way back to the defense. Gonzaga on this pitch right now. A lot of starters from last season returned 9 of 11. You can look at that however you want, considering they went 0-6 in the WCC last year. Glass half full. Growing experience, growing coaching. This team got better. Glass half empty. Why do you bring back an 0-6 team? But hey, they've proved the negative, pessimistic approach wrong, considering they are 7-6. They have 2 more wins just 3 games into the season than they did last year. The RPI was recently updated for men's college soccer. Portland sits at 47th. 47th, yes. So for those who don't know, the NCAA soccer tournament is similar to that of men's and women's basketball March Madness style. Cross center of the box. Is that going to be a hand on Hendell? Excuse me, Artiega does not. Now it's with Hendell. Hit into the mid-drift area. May have hit a hand. The referee may have called it a natural body position. So Portland's a couple of more wins, big wins needed, and they'll have chances to do it. Northern Illinois, who was a ranked team, comes to town on Wednesday. Bonilla making a bombarding run forward. Hendell gets it lost in the weeds. It's still there somehow, and it's in! Senga again! Didn't have a goal in his Portland career until last game, overtime winner against LMU. Now he's here, putting one past Gonzaga. Talk about cleaning up the weeds. Hendell's done that a couple of times this season where he's made a beautiful run, split the center backs, and then Senga from a right mid position is there to hit it into the net. Tonga credited with the goal, obviously. Hendell, at least on the PA right now, he's given the assist. I believe he should be, although it was intercepted. Tough situation for Garibay to be in. That marks Portland's 9th goal in opening halves this season. In contrast, they've only scored 5 in second halves. Team that likes to play on the front foot. We'll see what Gonzaga responds with. A good ball into the box. Trying to drill past a couple, and it's going to be given a penalty immediately. Portland had the lead for about a minute. We'll see if they can make it 2. It's in George Tasaris' hands now. Good pass inside. Great touch to settle it down. It's going to be on Christofor's Cortez. He's pointing at ball. Looks like he got the upper thigh area. Momentum was short-lived for the men in purple. It's going to be Logan Dorsey. 3 goals this season. Looking for 4, which would tie him for the high on his squad. 19th minute of action. Portland up 1-0, but briefly. Can they keep it that way? Portland from the spot, 100% this season. We'll see if Gonzaga can do the same. Here comes Dorsey. Quick run up, aims right, goes right. He is good from the spot. 1-1, Gonzaga, Portland. Tsonga scored about a minute earlier. Gonzaga convert from the penalty spot. Give Tasaris credit, he went the right way. Reaction's just a little bit delayed. Not a beautifully placed corner, but it had just enough power to beat the reaction speed of the Cyprian keeper. Goals galore early on. From a neutral's perspective, you love to see it. Adrenaline rushing for both sides early. Portland fans didn't have a ton of time to cheer. Portland, a healthy winning record at home. While Gonzaga 4-1 on the road. Portland trying to do what the Zags did to them, go down and score immediately after. Ball through, almost finds Tsonga. Kick with the left up the line. Hit off of a Bonilla shin pad. 19th minute of action. Had an entertaining affair so far. Neither sub has come in for either squad so far. Great settle down by Artiega. Bonilla tries to receive the pass from Sanga. Sanga's third start of the year. His other ones against Oregon State and University of California, San Diego. As Pereira plays a good ball to Bonilla. Bonilla now inside the box. Pereira outside of it. Ooh! Trickles wide of the near side post. Good link-up effort by the University of Portland. Doesn't want to look at it. Bonilla picks his head up, finds Pereira, who is striking that ball every day of the week. Doesn't get a ton of air under it, but a good placement about a yard away from tucking in the side netting. Sanga, as I said, 2 starts this season. This is his third. Had the game-winning OT goal against LMU, was named WCC Offensive Player of the Week because of it. But the senior has a ton of accolades in his career, which we'll get to in a second. Okay. Goes to ground, and he's going to have a free kick, which can send the Gonzaga troops back to their own territory. As I was saying, Sanga, a transfer from Memphis. Looking at his NCAA career, it's a damn good one. 2018 All-ACC All-Rookie Team. 2019, 3 goals, 4 assists, All-ACC second team. And 2020, a truncated campaign, played 9, started 9, had a goal against Temple. Ultimately decided to transfer to the University of Portland. Early on, not a ton of game time. Last 2 games, he's the hottest player at the University of Portland in form. He and Alejandro Pereira linked up for the OT goal against Marymount. Hendell got accidentally bumped by Frankie Lukovic. Haven't heard a ton from Lukovic so far today. He was named WCC Offensive Player of the Week actually 3 weeks ago. Talented player for Gonzaga. Great first time passing by the Zags. Cross deflected. He's going to get a second opportunity, but instead elects for a corner kick. The second of the game for the Bulldogs. They go short with it and quickly into the box. Shot deflected, I believe. It's going to be another corner for the Bulldogs, their third. It went awfully quickly, the block quickly there by Alejandro Pereira. Portland electing to put everyone inside the 18-yard marker, and then 2 defending the short option. Counter not truly alive for the Pilots right now, but trying to keep it 1-1. This time they go into the box, headed by Hendell, and a great touchdown by Nava. Will he go for speed or skill? He's going to wait for Pereira to join him all on the right. It's a 4-on-4, stops, stays afloat, and this time he is bumped. And an unhappy Zag. Will he receive a card? No. Devin Slingsby from Beaverton, not a happy camper. Sanga tried to duck down a little bit and head it. An awkward ball placement for sure. Chest probably would have been the best option. Over halfway through the opening 45. Score definitely represents how the teams have played. Hendell, 2 defenders near him. He's inside the box, goes towards the byline, sends it across off the mitts of Garibay. Good job by Hendell to win a corner after he was deep into enemy territory, rather by himself. Pilots and Bulldogs at 1. University of Portland, excuse me, it's not going to be a corner. We're going to say Hendell was out of play before his cross entered. Portland has 15 postseason appearances, looking for their 16th this season. So I have to say, with the schedule, 2 ranked opponents still on it, Santa Clara and NIU. They control their own schedule. O'Hara Was happy to take a tactical foul, but Gonzaga still gets through. That's going to be an offsides afterwards. Or it looked like he put a shoulder in there. Gonzaga attack still split through. Very entertaining game so far. At this point against Gonzaga, Portland was up, at this point against San Diego on the 9th. Portland was about to be up 3-0. And to add insult to injury for San Diego, they picked up a red card right after that scoreline. Gonzaga don't think they're going to bend and break that easily, as San Diego did. A team that has reinvented itself this campaign. Games are coming thick and fast for both sides. Portland had a 12-day break before they faced Loyola Marymount. Now they have 3 games in a week. Long distance going to go down as a shot on goal. Despite the dive, George Tasaris had that one handled. Here's another look at it. It's a good 30 yards out. Bounced once. Could have been awkward. Give Tasaris credit, but tracked it down well. Bonilla puts in a sliding challenge to get the ball. Tsonga has it, top of the box. Horizontal pass, not where he wanted it. Still a Portland. Now, I believe it's Bonilla behind the play. He's back up onto his feet.
At this time, we'd like to thank the following generous partners for their support of Pilot Athletics.
To confirm, that is Bonilla, the star fullback. WCC Defensive Player of the Week 2 weeks ago. Nick Carlin-Voigt's going to send an assistant coach to see how Bonilla is doing. He was down, got back up to his feet, and was down at midfield. Clock will be stopped accordingly. Something you never want. It looks like he's holding his right wrist. No silver linings in injury. But if you want to try to look for one, it's better a wrist than necessarily an ankle or a leg. Against Sacramento State earlier this season, picked up a facial injury. So Bonilla, for all his attacking prowess, unfortunately, has gotten hurt a couple of times doing it. So we're in the 26th minute. It gives us a good stoppage point. How about how both these teams have played so far? Gonzaga have impressed me. The opening 10 minutes looked to be another Pilot-dominant, possession-heavy performance. While Gonzaga got some of their counterattacks in, including Demetrius Kagaya having a great chance on goal, which George Tasaris threw both mitts over his head and made the save. They've been able to maintain a little bit better possession, and in that they won a penalty, which they tied the game at 1-1. Logan Dorsey scored that. Dorsey from Evergreen, Colorado. He's never seen this team beat Portland. Heck, no one on either squad has seen a result bar University of Portland beating Gonzaga. Last time it happened, 2015. All time, Portland is 29, 13, and 6. 15, 6, and 2 here at Merlo Field. While Gonzaga as a whole doesn't have a good record against most of the WCC all-time in conference. 74, 137, and 24. Tides look to be turning from the team from Spokane, though. A ton of talent in that region. They've done a good job recruiting. They've grad from Oregon, Washington, international as well. And now Bonilla looks to be still getting checked up on the near side touchline. We'll see who comes in for him. Right now, not a full slot of players on the pitch for the University of Portland. Clock has not resumed because of it. We'll see who's coming in. There's two players undressing. It looks to be Ortiz and Odenhall. Both capable of playing that fullback position, both very good at attacking. Ortiz capable of playing a forward role as well. Play's going to resume. Portland's going to have to be down to 9 men temporarily, but Bonilla will come back on. Bonilla back out there. Not sure many noticed. Would have gotten a bigger round of applause, but immediately came in, headed the ball away. Assumes his right back position again. O'Hara able to clean up. There's been a lot of chopping and changing on the black line. One thing that has stayed consistent amongst the defenders is O'Hara. I can no longer say he's played every single second this season because 25 total players played against San Diego. At the end, Nick Carlin-Voigt put every one of his bench players in the game, including the goalie. He's played every second of a game that wasn't in a 5-1 situation with 5 minutes to go. Evange was temporarily played, but Jake Arteaga, no yellow given. Definitely a foul though. Arteaga, one of the pilots who's hit by the injury bug this season. It was crucial games in mid-September. Wasn't able to be available for the Washington game, which Portland didn't have Cortez either because of a red card, and there's going to be another big challenge. We'll see if colors come out this time. No again. But another set piece opportunity about 5 yards closer than the one 30 seconds ago. 30 some odd yards from the net. Shooting opportunity for the most audacious of boots, but probably just another pass to keep possession for the Bulldogs. We're into the 29th minute. Bushy takes 3 strong steps behind the ball. Tasaris instructing a 3-man wall. Jake Arteaga looking back at him to do the duties. Scored from the spot. If he does this, it'll be even crazier. A chip ball worries nobody. The runners were not there. The jerseys in white did not flash like those in purple. Fake throw. Tricks a couple. 16.5 minutes to go in the first half. Teams have been evenly matched, as the record would suggest. Both coming off overtime thriller wins. Both looking to move to 3-1 and take a lone hold of 3rd place. RJ Stretch out left. Not the most skillful of players, and it's bodied off well. Excellent defending, gets treated almost as good as a goal. Give applause to Sebastian Karlholm. You can tell what Stretch is trying to do there. Get on his favored left foot, send him a powerful dart of a cross. But Karlholm, playing in that back three, does a really good job. Butte College transfer. Was named their Defensive Player of the Year twice. Butte College, Community College down in Arizona. Bonilla, friendly fire on his own player. There was a big collision. That looks like he might have got bumped. Boris coming into the game. Demetrius Kagaya leaving the game, who had the best chance of the game that did not score. And then Gurman Sanga leaves the game. The goal scorer for Portland. In comes Ortiz. Joe Corner. Started last 3 games, so a slight surprise he didn't start here in his home state of Oregon. He's from Salem. Although the final 2 years before college. Grew up in KC, played for the Sporting KC Academy. Before that, played for the Timbers Academy. Boris also into the game at defensive position, number 32. Keep your eye out on him. He's mostly going to play on the far side of the field. He's from Portland, Oregon. Went to Cleveland High School, about 20 minutes away from Merlot Field here. Sure to have some family in the building. Shot sailed far and wide. Tasaris has two short options. He's going to pin it out right. Advertising board, not the intended target, but that's where it goes. Gonzaga trying to replay quickly. Portland going to find their shape in defense. No press ensuing. The ball somehow gets there, and it is a chance that pierces the Gonzaga bench as they get to their feet. It was a first-time effort. Sliding down was Carlholm, who gets there. Wow, closer than it looked initially. If he got a little bit more under that ball, over that ball, could have troubled Tasaris, who elected to jump as his reaction. Portland building out from the back. Gonzaga looked to press heavy. Can Portland break this press? No, they cannot. Great sliding challenge. The other way. Nava. Pereira to his right. Going to lose it. Vukovic. Number 11 on the tackle. Jacob Babale, number 26, getting ready. He's on the touchline, getting ready to come in. We'll see if it's in midfield or an attacking position. He's certainly capable of playing both. 33rd minute. Ball on either side of the halfway line. Now Hendell 1-on-4. What can he do? Takes it to his stronger right foot, has a shot, good save. Hendell has created havoc. Gets him in the final third, doesn't matter if he's by himself or with the whole squad. He's going to take it, he's going to shoot. Good shot on goal. Garibay makes a good save. Ball relatively at the keeper. Applaud his positioning, applaud his strong wrists. Babale still not in the game yet, receiving good instruction from Nick Carlin, or at least he hopes so. 33rd minute. Corner will be taken by the man who earned it, Luke Hendell. Hard to believe there's games this season Hendell didn't start. For the opening parts of this season, the grad player was preferred as a bench option, but since start 4 of his last 5 has been excellent. Cross coming in, poked outside for Nava. Nava elects to put it back. Has it again, gets past his own teammate. Probably too much for Cortez to get to. Now Gonzaga have time. Going to be a foul or offsides? It's going to be offsides beforehand. Leon Sitz was the man making the run, but O'Hara stepped up just before the pass was played into the path of Sitz. Pierre taps it to O'Hara to restart. Next for Portland is a game in 3 days' time. Going to host Pacific on Saturday. Hope to see you there for that game as well. Stretch. Can he split the difference? Just barely. And Hendell is there. Takes it back into his own area. And the pass to Artiega. Flowing hair to flowing hair. Despite lining up in the same formation the whole season, Portland has been able to play in a multitude of ways, a lot of different styles. This more possession heavy, the way Gonzaga are playing, or how Portland has been forced to play against some of the top teams like Oregon State, like UCLA, and most recently Washington. Despite losses, against Oregon State and Washington. Those two teams are top 5 in the country. So to have those close games on your resume still ultimately help. And then having a ranked win against Loyola Marymount does that and more. Substitutions coming, 1 for both sides. Theo O'Malley, a midfielder from Parker, Colorado, come into the game.
For the Bulldogs, in is number 8, Theo O'Malley, replacing number 3, Leon Sitz.
Leon Sitz leaves in favor of O'Malley, who's played every game this season, but all coming off the bench. Over 400 total minutes, though. And then Jacob Babalai, who we mentioned earlier, the Westland, Oregon West Side Timbers product, comes in. Ball just stays in play. Ortiz trying to make his first positive action so far. Good play by Portland to retain. They're going to use the 11th man to their advantage. Tasaris has it. Pierre with the left foot. Really good string of possession for Portland. Hendell, the runner again, gets bumped. Has options to his left, instead pokes it. Bonilla wanted it badly. Instead, he faked the pass, went to Nava near side. Gonzaga there just in time. You can really see the Gonzaga defense collapsing every time Hendell has the ball in the final third. Corner coming. It's going to be the second registered one of the game for, third registered one of the game for the Pilots. Portland a little bit more conservative on their corners than Gonzaga was. Gonzaga seemingly put all white jerseys right near the 6-yard box. Portland has to create a bit of momentum on the runs. Navas there is a short option. Instead they go in, punched to the opposite side of the field. Ball dancing along the line, stays in. It's going to be a foul by Gonzaga. Looks like they were pulling the kit of Cortez. Portland only had one man in the area, being Cortez. 3 Gonzaga defenders there. It has a really good outcome from it in the 38th minute. Portland has a dangerous set piece. Call it a little bit nicer than a corner. Portland not known for scoring on their set pieces this season. Penalties don't count. They have scored 3 penalties, though. A bunch of purple hanging out along the 6-yard box. Hendell's going to be the one to take it. It's really low and hits the grass and then off a white kit boot. Another sub coming in. We'll see who it's in replace of. Buba Fofana coming into the game. Buba Fofana is going to replace Luke Hendell. Hendell, the most influential player of the game so far, you would have to say. Although he wasn't the one who hit the back of the net, he certainly created it. Buba Fofana offers a little bit different of a look. Not quite as technical, but more speed for sure. A much younger player. Fofana was the man who started in the place of Hendell to start this season. The Sierra Leone product. Looking for his second goal of the season. Scored the first of the season for the Portland squad against Air Force. An entertaining 2-0 win. 13 shots this campaign. Started just 2 of the last 8. Needs production in these substitution spurts to get back into that starting lineup because he certainly has the skill. Against Oregon State, although a loss, he was huge in that game. Portland have the press of their own. Fofana's to the right. Instead, Ortiz is going to take it himself. Cross isn't there in time. That was a 3-on-1. Ortiz decision-making wasn't excellent there. 40th minute, Gonzaga, let's go the other way now. No can do, Ortiz has it this time, makes a good pass. Fofana has to jump over a slide tackle who's gonna be there to collect. Ortiz. Give and go with Nava. Pierre. And all the way back. Tasaris will be closed down. Has to make a first-time kick. It's a pretty good one at that. Ortiz to run onto it. Ortiz has a hit. Bonilla has a take. A cross. From this angle looks scary, but ultimately sails wide. Garibay had the best look at it. The Stockton, California keeper was there in time. Four minutes to go until halftime. No stoppage time in college soccer. Certainly a fun 45 coming. But first, let's see how these final 4 minutes conclude. Gonzaga's bench wanted offside. Instead, Ortiz and Fofana link up. Fofana stops like a brick wall. The dribble doesn't complete. A half-hearted effort doesn't make the midfield line, but Gonzaga had a 2-on-2 opportunity if Pierre's positioning wasn't elite. Tasaris takes one too many steps back for the Portland faithful to be comfortable. He knows what he's doing. Stretch to Fofana. He was offside, but plays it through beautifully to Ortiz. What a dummy. Ortiz, shooting opportunity. It's in again! The dummy played perfectly to Ortiz. 2-1 Portland. Nick Carlin Voigt's going to be playing that one on repeat. Here's a look at the dummy. They knew he was offsides. Then Ortiz, fresh legs. Remember, he came in as a sub. Right-footed effort, slided low and to the left. It's a hard one to save, and Portland is up 2-1 because of it. Purple flare set off. What a finish from Ben Ortiz. It's the first goal of his season. He's a versatile winger. Didn't think he was that good of a finisher. He's running hard. I was critical of him earlier when they had a 3-on-1. He didn't make the right decision, but right there, he did the only thing he had the option to do, slot it perfectly. Ortiz, someone who didn't even play last game against Loyola Marymount. It's the second goal of his University of career. Portland's attackers have been really impressive today. Largely, this is the team that is built from defensive identity, but scoring 10 goals in the last 2.5 games at home. Those are just raw numbers you cannot argue with. With the early season defense and now the form of this offense can really gel together. Portland's got a real shot at something here. They put the WCC on notice by beating the highest ranked team in the conference. If they beat Gonzaga, they will go to 3-1 in conference and have massive games coming up. Cross by Bonilla, it's a high one. Gonzaga deals well. So that was actually Cortez on the far side cross, excuse me. Ortiz a slit. You'll afford him it after the beautiful goal. 70 seconds left. pocket of space for Babale. There's a shot with the left into the night sky here at the University of Portland. The Merlot Field fans are rewarded for sitting in the rain, the wet, and the cold with 2 great goals by the University of Portland. If you're a Gonzaga fan, if you like what you've seen so far too, nothing about this game so far would suggest the scoring is over. Pilots 8 shots, Bulldogs 6. An even matchup so far. Fofana was defending the set piece from 50 yards out some odd. And that's going to do it for the half. George Tasaris can hold on. And that's going to be halftime. Portland up 2-1. Ortiz scoring just before the break, grabbing momentum for the Pilots. They're certainly excited. How could you not be after 2-1? But Gonzaga, 7-6. They've won games from a losing position so far this season. The Bulldogs have to be taken seriously. The way they've played right here, just in that opening 45, prove they were a much different team than last season. We're going to take a break for halftime, but when we return on the WCC and Portland CW, a great second half of action. Be sure to stay tuned.
So my name is Matt Libby. I'm the Outdoor Pursuits Program Manager. What I do at Outdoor Pursuits is kind of oversee everything from the climbing wall, trips, equipment rentals, bike shop, bike rentals, and everything in between there. When Beauchamp opened in 2015, Outdoor Pursuits actually got its own designated office space. It became like an official program where we were hiring student trip leaders and hiring bike mechanics and all this sort of stuff, and we got this nice office. The trips that we're normally running is everything from a super easy hike to a waterfall, all the way up to climbing Mount Hood. And our goal in between there is to find something that is inclusive to meet everybody's skill levels. So if you want to go for something easy, we've got it. If you really want to challenge yourself and climb a mountain, we've got it. If you want to go paddling down the Columbia River, camping along the beach the whole way, we've got that as well. So there's something there for everybody.
I'm Clara. I'm a senior here at University of Portland, and I've worked at Outdoor Pursuits for about a year now. I work at the rock wall in front where we belay people, give them orientations in bouldering, and I'm also an assistant trip leader, so I help guide our expeditions. I say that all of our trips are super accessible because we kind of give you all the equipment and instruction that you need. I really recommend our paddle trips because I think it's a really cool, fun way to see a new area. Sometimes we'll paddle in parts of the Willamette, like we go a little further south by Westland to this place called Rock Island. You get to paddle out to an island in the middle of the river that's pretty untouched and explore. Last year, for the first time, we did cross-country skiing, and we went over by Trillium Lake, and it was super fun because we had people who had been on cross-country ski teams, but also people who were just trying it out for the first time, and it was really fun to get people involved in this brand new sport.
Right now what we're doing for COVID is pretty much that exact same thing. This year we just don't have anything that's overnight, but we're still doing a lot of day trips to get outside and have some fun.
Largely the trips exist in the same format, just with fewer participants and more space between us, but luckily like outdoor trips lend themselves really well to this format. So we only take about half the people and we're distanced in the van with masks, but when we get out there we're pretty much able to do the same exact things, which is a big sigh of relief when you're stuck inside all day.
Signing up for a trip is super easy. You can either come to the Outdoor Pursuits office. We're open Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. You can come in, tell us what you want. We'll sign you up for a trip. You can also sign up by phone. So if you don't want to come into the office or you can't, or say you live a little bit further away, you just call our office and you can actually sign up and pay over the phone, and we'll get that all coordinated. Your trip leaders will reach out to you, giving you extra information, setting up a pre-trip meeting, and then ultimately culminating going on the trip. Same thing with equipment rental. You can come rent it right then and there, or you can call us and let us know what reservation you want to do, when you want to pick it up, and that sort of stuff, and we can do all that over the phone. Here at Outdoor Pursuits, we really think that's more important than ever, is to get outside in a responsible way, to sort of disconnect from the digital world and just have fun.
Jesse Owens, American track and field athlete and four-time gold medalist in the 1936 Olympic Games. The battles that count aren't the ones for gold medals. The struggles within yourself. The invisible, the inevitable battles inside all of us. That's where it's at.
Jackie Robinson. I'm not concerned with your liking or disliking me. All I ask is that you respect me as a human being. I think if we go back and check our record, the Negro has proven beyond a doubt that we have been more than patient in seeking our rights as American citizens.
We aren't seeking anything which is not good for the nation as well as ourselves. In order for America to be 100% strong economically, defensively, and morally, we cannot afford the waste of having second and third class citizens.
Ethia Gibson, first African American woman to win a Grand Slam title. Being a champion is all well and good, but you can't eat the crown.
Muhammad Ali, 3-time heavyweight champ. Service to others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth.
Bill Russell, 11 NBA championships and first black coach in North American professional sports, and first to win a championship. The most important measure of how good a game I played was how much better I'd make my teammates play.
Tommy Smith and John Carlos, champions in the 1968 Mexico City Olympics. We had to be seen because we couldn't get heard.
Hank Aaron. For more than 3 decades, he has been best known for hitting more home runs than any other baseball player in MLB history. My motto was always to keep swinging.
Whether I was in a slump, feeling badly, or having trouble off the field, the only thing to do is to keep swinging.
Florence Griffith Joyner, also known as FloJo, a track and field runner who is considered to be one of the fastest women of all time. In 1988, she set the world record in the 100-meter and 200-meter dash, which still holds today. When anyone tells me I can't do anything, I'm just not listening anymore.
Lisa Leslie was the first WNBA player to win the regular season MVP, the All-Star Game MVP, and the playoff MVP all in one regular season. It's about work ethic. Winning never gets old.
Lolo Jones, an Olympic hurdler and bobsledder with 11 All-American honors. Greatness finds us by putting obstacles in front of us. I don't look at hurdles as obstacles blocking my path, but as opportunities to overcome.
Serena Williams. You can be whatever size you are, and you can be beautiful, both inside and out.
I always believe I can beat the best, achieve the best. I always see myself in the top position. I don't like to lose at anything, yet I've grown most not from victories but setbacks. If winning is God's reward, then losing is how He teaches us.
How could you not be excited for the following 45 minutes? We're just moments away from this second half. Portland's up 2-1, but if the trends of the game stay put, we're sure to have more goals. The front line for Portland has been firing on all four. Goals accredited to Ortiz and Senga. Senga cleaned up a mess from Hendell, who made a beautiful run. The tackle was there, ball within the weeds. Senga comes in and cleans it up. While for Ortiz, just a pure clinical finish into the side netting. But, you know, it's given assists just out of, not pity, but out of impressiveness to Fofana, who played it through with the dummy. Here are the statistics from the first half. You can tell how even this game has been against these two teams that both have 7 wins. 3 shots on goal for each team. The keepers, while the saves aren't huge numbers, 2 to Portland, 1 to Gonzaga. Both Garibay and George Tasaris have had a lot to do, and they've stood tall. Portland and Gonzaga, 7 fouls for the Pilots, 5 for the Bulldogs. But it's a relatively clean game so far, a lot of moments of sportsmanship as well. Gonzaga started with the ball in the first half. It's going to be Portland. Bubo Fofana will be starting with it for the team in purple. Clive's Army has filled up more so than the start of this game, and although a wet, cold, and rainy night in Portland, Oregon, fans have come out. Hendell was doing everything right in the first half. Not a great start there for him as he loses it, but Portland gets it back. Pierre goes really long, trying to find Fofana, and now Ortiz cleans up the mess. The touch with the left foot, too heavy. Ortiz, excellent touch. Fofana, good shimmy with the shoulder. Still, now loses it a yard inside of the box. Pierre Scorpion kicks the boot. Excuse me, Scorpion kicks the ball. Both teams had a chance to reset after halftime. Most of the substitutions that Portland made remain in the game. Ortiz in there still, Fofana in there still, but Hendell did come back in. I believe he took out Babale. Talked about good sportsmanship at the halftime. Ortiz displayed some of it there on the foul that happened post-play. Shoved off the ball. Caleb Kiner got it out of his own territory. Hendell rounds one, but the defense is there. Not a strong kick. Can Hendell recoup? Has the ball on the end line. Tries to send a first-time cross and stays in play. Portland's going to reset. Nava having a trot around Clive's Army. Recycles it back out to the fullback stretch. Two teams even so far. Last game for Gonzaga, an exciting 3-2 overtime victory against San Francisco. I bet you they'll take that result right now. It's a team on the rise. I said it before earlier on. Gonzaga, while not tournament hopefuls for this season, what Aaron Lewis has done in his first season gives hope to trying to find their 3rd ever tournament appearance. The 1-2 with Bonilla. Bonilla's touch is too heavy. We saw him score an own goal, is not the right word. We saw him create an own goal on San Diego from that same 1-2-like positioning. Bonilla, every time he makes a pass, he's running up that line. He is constantly moving, always has his head up, and is not afraid to put in a first-time cross or pass. He's dang good at it. Gonzaga, just 2 tournament appearances to Portland's 15. Funnily enough, in their first ever tournament appearance back in 2001, Portland beat them 1-0. In their 2 appearances in the tournament, the other one coming in 2007. They've never scored a goal. Another one, a 1-0 loss as well. Ball goes on the negative side of the white sideline chalk. Gonzaga, 4 passes, goes from the near side all the way to the far. A fake early cross gets it inside for the Bulldogs. Then Hendell's run is too heavy. The motor kept moving but didn't pick up the ball. Here comes the cross. Almost awkward, and then Bonilla does the smart play to kick it out. Had to have quick, constant communication with his keeper, Tasaris, there. 49th minute, Portland up 2-1. Not quite as comfortable as last game when they were up, about 4-1 at this point. And with the opposing team playing with 10 men. Clean game so far. Short corner, Gonzaga's elected to do that a couple of times already. Ortiz has two right on either shoulder. Can he fend them off? Does he have the pace? Well, he does, but just loses it. Played up the line, Bonilla has time. Kagaya, the closest Bulldog to the ball. Delance Pierre, believe he was the intended recipient, but RJ Stretch is gonna get it. Thanks for joining us in the WCC. I'm your broadcaster, Adam Sussman. It's been an incredible game so far, one of the most entertaining in this midweek WCC slate. Fofana's pass finds Ortiz. Ortiz played well through to Bonilla. Bonilla had a hit with the man inside Fofana. Was a little bit ahead of the ball. The quarterback underthrowing his receiver. Here's Bonilla. Plays it behind. It was perfectly in between two Portland players. Hendell, body feint, gets past one. Fancy footwork, clears up some space. The pass this time over Bonilla. Gives us a moment to breathe. Portland's been exciting in the final third so far, these opening 5 minutes. Ortiz. Portland constantly creating these triangles. We saw Cortez, Ortiz, and Bonilla all within about 3 yards of each other. Fofana, first time to Hendell. Just a little bit behind him, but sticks out his 6'2" leg and played it and ended up drawing the foul. He was a little bit shorter, he doesn't get there. Now we're gonna have a set piece for the Pilots, 35 yards out. Portland could have gone a lot further if they wanted to, but with Gonzaga all 11 behind the ball, decided just to keep possession. Bonilla to O'Hara. Bonilla. Hendell drags it to his dominant foot, gives it off to Ortiz. First time cross, trying to reach that back post. Good thought. Execution almost there. Just now look at that. Ortiz and Bonilla have been menacing along the right flank. It's been a handful to deal with Gonzaga. They may need to drop more defenders toward to that near side of the pitch. O'Hara, beautiful. Almost finds Fofana. On the crowd, you can really hear the team chanting on Booba, 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 trying to get Booba Fofana going. When he is firing, Portland can be deadly. They've had spurts of players looking really strong. At moments this season, you said this team doesn't have an identifiable goal scorer. Then Pereira went and scored 3 in the game, but still doesn't seem to be that poacher day in and day out that can get the goals. But alternatively, you have a lot of people who can score on this team. Cross is a really good one. A bicycle effort. Wow. Even if you're a Portland fan, applaud that. You see why he was our player to watch, Demetrius Kagaya. Here's another look at that. Wow, got that left foot up. I mean, it was dangerously close to the head of Bonilla and O'Hara, but split the two and the ball goes over and wide. Next for Gonzaga is a huge test. On Saturday, they go back to Luger Field. Not too big of a trip up north. to face Santa Clara, who's just inside the top 25. Santa Clara known for the dominance of their women's team, who the University of Portland actually beat last week. Women's team won the national championship last season. While their men have fallen behind a little bit, they were picked to finish second to last in the WCC, but have been doing dang well so far. And if you're a Portland fan, you want the WCC to always be elevated so those wins can hold all that more gravity. Gonzaga content to play it around the back. Kiner and Carlholm have played a give and take, like a dad and a son playing catch. Gonzaga accusing Pierre of the hand. Can Fofana start the break going the other way? No. But now Nava, Hendell will have a chance to do it themselves. Nava picks his head up well, finds the open grass and trying to chip it through to Hendell. Inches away from going out of play, he reaches it again. He is surrounded though, a tricky situation, and he is going to lose the ball. We need all the skill in the world to get out of. Alejandro Pereira getting ready to come in. Hat-trick scorer last time we were here. Here's Nava. Sends himself to ground. It almost may have been a little embellishment, but still ultimately I do think that is a foul. We'll see him. Yeah, I love Nava. He's one of the best players on this team, but I think he may have prematurely went to ground there. Nonetheless, it's going to be a free kick for Portland. Between 25 and 30 yards out. Definitely a shooting opportunity. Nava, probably the most capable long shot taker on this team, but when it comes to set pieces, plenty are capable on Portland. Artiega certainly one of them as well. Nava won the free kick. Will he be the one to take it? Yes, he is. Steps up, sends it over off the bar. Beautiful effort. Fofana, chance isn't over. Curling shot doesn't go. Wow. If the wind is deafened the opposite direction, that one might have been in. Bang off the bar. The woodwork saving Garibay. 3-1 may have just done it with the way Portland's been able to defend. Since the Kagaya shot in the first half, Gonzaga has created little from open play. You just want to look at that free kick. You can see all that spin going from left to right, rotating faster and faster every time. Great camera angle from behind the goal. And it just nails off the woodwork. Head away by Hendell. Never present on both boxes. Shot. Is he offside? He is. He's going to be off. Celebration came in. But a really good play, but it's not going to go noticed by many. But the second that ball was cleared, that Portland defense was sprinting up to play the high line. You always know there's a chance of a second ball coming back in after the header, but once Hendell got it 15, 20 yards away from net, and a long shot came in, that Portland back line was already 30 yards ahead. Game nearly 2/3 underway. Although no goals have been scored in the second 45, it's still been a lot of action. Portland showing their loyal fans a great game so far. We'll see if Gonzaga can get back into it and avoid going to 7-7, while Portland's trying to get to 8-5, and most importantly, another step closer to the third career NCAA appearance for Nick Carlin-Voigt. Bonilla headed backwards. It's going to be a throw-in just inside the final third for Gonzaga. Quickly taken, but O'Hara there in a flash. Last off a Bulldog cleat. It's going to be a throw-in for Ortiz. Pereira, a starter for today's match. Who's he going to replace? Buba Fofana. Bonilla had to get past his own man and two more Bulldogs. Doesn't, but a foul came prior. Doesn't seem like much, but it relaxes the Gonzaga press. From the edge of one box to another. Gonzaga now has a chance to play out just like Portland did. Gonzaga about 50 spots below Portland in the RPI. Their best chance of getting a tournament would be a WCC conference title. A big test against Santa Clara next. I think you knew this Gonzaga team was no pushover. This game, they came back and scored a goal a minute after Sang did. And also earlier this season, to go to Bowling Green and pick up a draw against a highly ranked team was a big deal as well. Two-man defensive wall of Bonilla and O'Hara is going to let that ball squeak out of play. Kagaya, the closest to it, gives a nonchalant jog to get there. 62nd minute, Portland up 2-1. Bonilla intercepts. Nick Carlin-Voigt saying go, go, go to Ortiz. Fortunately, the ball was out of reach. Good block by Hendell, though. Not a sexy play, but one that needs to be made. Kagaya has options far out right. Ball had too much spin, so RJ Stretch was able to get there. What can Nava do? You hear Aaron Lewis, the coach for Gonzaga, saying push, 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 and that's what they just did. But O'Hara make him look silly for it. Now here's Gonzaga. Pierre into the pass, it's chipped over, and it's in! Wow! Offside again. Offside again. Offside again. I mean, that ball was picture perfect, but the runner was just behind. Oh, Pierre was a hair away from getting it. The linesman has to be in a lot of pressure there. Clock's going to be stopped. We're gonna take another look at it. We're obviously not referees here in the WCC, but that's a really tight offsides. We can try to use the 18-yard box as a marker. But that's too close to say. We'll give the tie to the ref. The Zags may feel a smidge hard done by as the clock stops again. Ref is going to come to the sideline, talk to the third official, see if it's pertaining to that goal or not. Calls from the crowd for the fourth official and the main official to check the video. I think if that decision were to be made, they have it in their own head. I think Aaron Lewis just put up, you know, a 2 marker on his head, saying that's 2 goals now that have been marked from offsides. Hey, if you're offsides, you're offsides. Doesn't matter if you score 7. And it looks like that may just about do it for the goal that trickled over the Tasaris' line. That's gonna do it. Here's a very slow down version, and that's a great angle right there, because you can see Pierre is higher up inside that semicircle, and the runner is closer to that white line on the 18-yard box. That's a great angle. Good job by our crew here to find that. Pierre, the man who was closest to keeping him onside. Sure, his heart skipped a beat. Can Portland ruin Zag hopes? Through to Bonilla. Bonilla, close to net. He's going to be offsides. Goal didn't go in anyway. Yeah, that one looks a little bit more clear of an offsides chance. Pereira was ultimately on the end of Bonilla's pass. Doesn't matter though. 65th minute. Kagaya. Best attacking players in the WCC. Notched the WCC all-second team last season, all WCC freshman team the year before that. Excuse me, 2 WLCC second teams, and then 2018 all-freshman WCC. Every year, he's picked up that honor. Two subs for Portland. German Sanga coming back into the game. And Ortiz leaves, Hendell leaves. Also into the game, Jacob Babale. Well, Babale came in the first half. He was playing in that center of the park, almost accompanying Cortez and Arteaga more so than other midfielders do. Almost got in the action right away. Sanga did. 3 pilots get there, but able to get out of it. Gonzaga stringing together double-digit passes. Caleb Kiner is the man in the central of the back line. Good link-up play. Delence Pierre in there to intercept. Kagaya. Gonzaga pressing hard here. Cross comes in over many. I want to say RJ Stretch meant to do that. Looked really nice doing it. He faked the header kind of back into a dangerous area and just let it sail over his head and out of play for a goal kick. '67th minute, George Tasaris, no one short, everyone at least 40 some odd yards away. Gonzaga looked to reset the guns, but instead Portland took it away at the halfway line. Senga trying to run off the man outright. He's going to receive. Step over to his dominant foot, sends it across off the shin pad of Kiner. Corner kick coming. Here's Senga. Say the man of the week for the University of Portland. Had the game winner against Loyola Marymount. Scored the first goal here today. The Memphis transfer certainly has impressed. You'd be shocked to see if he didn't start against Pacific this weekend either, just considering the form and confidence he must have. Rain stopped just in time for this affair. We're in the 68th minute. Rain probably stopped 75 minutes ago. The players came out just absolutely drenched. Kagaya, the one-man forward for Gonzaga on the counter. Cross is a decent one. No counter potential as Artiega can play back safely to O'Hara. It's a game of kickball as both teams then to the halfway line and back. Cortez, Senga. And a big boot forward. Pierre does a good job. See why he's in the top drawer soccer team of the week. Defensive actions like that. Senga running off the right wing. It's going to be with Pereira in the midfield. Artiega to Cortez, the midfield two don't get talked about enough, but they're doing the dirty work. Cortez to Senga. Gets it hit away, but into the path of Bonilla. Pereira picked his head up looking to the left. Wasn't many avenues there. Sides a back pass back to Cortez. Portland have 6 right now in the Gonzaga final third. And every time they play it back to their backline, that Gonzaga backline does a good job stepping up, similar to how Portland does. 69th minute. Is Bonilla onside? He's not. Left a beautiful pass to Senga, who probably would have scored. Senga might be shown a card. Simply a warning for shooting after a prolifically loud whistle for the offside. Bonilla, give him credit. You know, he is offside, but played a beautiful ball. Kagaya. Or as the outside defender wasn't close enough to Kagaya to get the ball. So we approach the final 20 minutes of the game. Bonilla trying to go up, Boris there. Pereira being closed down by 4 awfully quickly. And the 4 do their job. Vukovic. Over to Bushy. Now far flank. Good lofted ball inside. Kagaya's running the whole time. May have gotten a foot onto it. Tasaris pulls a cucumber, lets it go by. Hendell getting ready to come back in. I believe the third time he's coming. Started the game, got subbed once, came back in, went out. He's going to come back in again. Tasaris skips his own final third on the long ball. But it's going to be out of play. And Gonzaga look to start the break. Legs motoring forward. Kagaya trying to get it going. Bushy. Try the cross there, Bonilla. And there to slide across the Murillo field of grass. It is natural grass. I've asked and checked myself. Not a corner, it's going to be a throw-in. Gonzaga practically treating it like so. Long throw comes in, just on the edge of the 6-yard box. It's going to fall out. Bushy keeps it low. They score their first offside goal in a manner like that. Good control. Bobble. Fends off one. Step overs make it look nice. Cortez over the top. Can he find Senga? He can. Good sliding challenge. Bowers, number 32, still down after the challenge. He's holding his right calf. If unfortunately he is injured, making a hell of a play. Senga just beat him for pace, but the sliding challenge and the defensive acumen made sure he didn't get into the box. He is still down holding that right leg.
Generous partners with their support of Pilot Athletics, AAA of Oregon, U.S. Army and UPROTC, Oxford Suites Hotels, Domino's Pizza, Orthopedic and Fracture Specialist, Waste Management, and Geico.
Barris's intervention, said he's the one down right now, resulted in a corner kick for Portland. Neither corners have been able to create much today. Portland have a chance off the set piece. Best set piece chance right here at Merlot Fields has to be the Nava set piece. For 25 yards out, clanked off the left side woodwork, where you see Leon Sitz standing right now. That's where Nava was aiming, maybe a little bit higher. Instead hit the post. Jorge Aspas, midfielder from Valencia, Spain. One of the few internationals on this Gonzaga squad are going to come in. I love the Pacific Northwest, but trading the weather of Spain and Valencia for Spokane must have been a little bit of an adjustment. He's had 1 assist this season against St. Thomas, a team in Minnesota, University of Minnesota, I should say. He's had 10 shots, about 500 minutes, 52 last game against San Francisco. Can Jorge Aspas, the freshman midfielder, play well in these final 15 or so? Try to even this game up. Hendell, we've talked about him plenty this game. Usually a man who likes to play out left, but he's been doing all of his damage in a striker position, yes, but he's playing almost as a false 9, coming back a little bit and letting the other striker next to him play more advanced. Players getting some water, got some treatment. George Tasaris got some magic spray on his thigh. Also looks like Wesley Frankel may be getting ready to come in too. He checked into the game though. Kick by the line. Artiega will get there first. Give Bonilla time to think. Does the option he was going to do the whole time. Gives it to Cortez. Nava. It's on the opposite flank he usually is. Cortez outside the boot. Hendell trying to chip it through. May have been offsides anyway, but the keeper gets there. Garibay trying to excel his team forward. Legs going like a locomotive. All the Gonzaga bodies go forward, barred the back line. Hendell defending. Does a good job getting a shoulder on, and that's going to be a clear foul. Bonilla goes down. Noah Bushy lets him know he's not a fan of that. Jacob. Not Jacob McDaniel, excuse me, Devin Slingsby, number 17 for Gonzaga, who started this game, was subbed out, has played a decent amount since. No yellow, I believe. I wasn't looking up if there was a card shown. He looks to have escaped there, although it was an intentional foul. To the box. Hendell tried to clean up the scraps. Cortez definitely didn't mean to hit it off his own head, but worked for a second. That's going to be a foul. Swept the leg out from under Trujillo. Willie Trujillo, one of the three men on the Gonzaga front line, we probably haven't given enough love to this game. Has played and started all 13 games this season. Had a goal last game. Just 2 shots on the season, 500%, 50% success rate, pretty good. Almost 1,000 minutes, is over that marker now, given the minutes he's played today. Wesley Frankel is getting ready to come in, number 6. Actually, number 8 was barred by the side field bar here in Merlo Field. Frankel, a goal this season, it was a huge one against Seattle. It won them the Coffee Cup. Scored deep into the 70th minute about this time. And Brennan Cambridge had the ball forward off a goal kick. Calls for Portland Pilots. Go across Merlo Field. Game has been, like I said, pretty clean so far, but it's getting a little bit chippy here late. Emotions flaring a little bit for Gonzaga. You understand why. Down by 1 with 15 minutes to go. Scoring those 2 offside goals. Going from jubilation to frustration really quick. The restart, very poor. As it gives it right back to Portland. They're able to take off. Header back to the keeper. Could have been a nervy situation, but Garibay, all of 17 yards off his line, able to corral in the header. Under 15 minutes to go. What can Gonzaga do to get back in this game? Last 10 minutes or so, they've been sloppy. You see it again right there. Hendell with Bobbele. Hendell's going to take it himself, splits the D, has a shot, chips it over. Hendell! Wow! He's the king of the chip, did it last home game against San Diego, does it again right there. Hendell just won this game for the University of Portland, splits the D right there, has a chip with the right foot over Garibay. And Portland look to be winners of this one. Hendell loves making it look good. Assist is going to go to Alejandro Pereira. Excuse me, he's going to be checking out. Hendell, I'm not sure who they're going to credit the assist to, but Hendell did the work on his own. Bobbele, give him credit, was an excellent decoy in that, was about 7 or 8 yards over to the right. It was always there as a passing option to the very last second. And Hendell, not the fastest in the world, more of a strong, skillful player, used the pace he had to split the defense and chip it over with the right. It's the second goal of the season for the talented German. Hendell Cuts in with the right. He's feeling himself right now. The through ball not there for Nava. He was piggybacked amongst one Gonzaga player. Half-hearted cheers for "Come on, Zags," as may not be able to tell on the stream or if you're watching on Portland CW, but the rain has started to come down again. If you're Portland, probably plays in your favor a little bit considering you're up 3-1. You don't have to be the neatest in the world like Gonzaga does right now. Ortiz, who scored the second goal, will be coming in. He's someone who's capable as a forward and a defender. I think he's probably going to be playing out wide and defending from an offensive position. I think he's going to be taking on Nava, and that's exactly what he will be doing. 12 minutes to go. A little bit of change as well. And fresh legs coming in for Gonzaga as well. Kagaya, who almost made this game 1-0 early on when Tasaris stoned him. Got my University of Portland players from Cyprus mixed up for a second there. Tasaris made an excellent save on him. Two keepers in this one in the WCC, two best save percentages in the conference as well. Tasaris may go down a little bit because he hasn't made, 8 or 9 saves this game, and his save percentage is over 800. Just immaculate, good for top 20 in the country. You see why he is on that Matt Kerman watch list. Algarabay entered the game with a 760 save percentage, but after shelving 3 to the University of Portland, that may go down below 700. Hendell to Bonilla. Bonilla, he gets it taken away, but defender was on the floor. Bonilla inside, Babale takes it to his left. That's going to be a pen. I said 4. I may have been foreshadowing something as Portland has a penalty. Devin Slingsby responsible for it. And an awfully close game all night long. May just turn into a University of Portland rout. I believe that is Babale over the ball. Babale hasn't scored since facing University of California, San Diego. Looking for the second goal of the campaign. Can the Oregonian make it 4 for Portland? Run up low, strong. That's 4 for Portland. Babale earned it. He gets the one to take it, and Portland's percentage from the spot this season remains a beautiful 1-0-0. 4-0, Pilots up on Bulldogs. Portland endured about a 15-minute Gonzaga storm to start this second half. And after that, it just seemed like the Zags were defeated emotionally, mentally, physically. It looked a little bit drained, and since then, Portland's just been able to take advantage of that. All in all, I don't think this scoreline necessarily represents how Gonzaga played. 2 offside goals, if both of those are, it's really a game of inches that's used for American football all the time. But on those offside calls, it could have been 3-2 for all we know with the Zags. But Portland is up 4-1. And it's a parley at Merlot Field. Pilot faithful will be sent with a smile on their face. In the final 10 minutes, it's almost a formality for the University of Portland. Wonder if we see some substitutions that you don't necessarily expect today, but you do have to finish the job against this WCC opponent. They'll take the 3 points, but they want probably a result that's going to put the others in the conference on notice. Barring other results, Portland has a chance to move to second in the WCC. The next game is against Pacific. Ortiz intervenes. He still has the legs to move even after 81 minutes. Frankel is there. Although last off a pilot boot, obviously an unintentional back pass to Tasaris, so he's able to pick it up. Odenhall, Cato, and Greg Tracy are the three to come in for Portland. Tracy a midfielder, Odenhall a defender, and Cato a forward. Portland got to keep playing, be smart here. Still defending, they're almost defending in a 4-2-3-1 with how high Frankel is playing. Shelved off, and that's going to be a save nonetheless. But O'Hara was pushed to the ground. Gonzaga don't like it at all. It's number 14, Brian O'Hara, got some boos from the Gonzaga fans. Logan Dorsey. We'll see another look at it here. Yeah, that's a push off with the forearm. They were both nudging each other, and ultimately Dorsey is the one who gets called with the foul inside the box. Made a good move to the right, but the foul came beforehand. Clock stop, Portland player down. We'll see who it is inside the box. It's not Bonilla, who was down in that position a little bit earlier. Looks like it's Delence Pierre. He has a smile on his face. It's good to see. May just be a little bit knackered after playing 82 minutes. Pierre played a full overtime period and the full game on the 23rd. These Gonzaga players also played an overtime game on the 23rd as well against San Francisco, a game they won 3-2. Pierre back up on his feet. And because Pierre went down, no surprise we get Jalen Rodwell checking in for him. Hasn't happened yet, but that's just my presumption as Rodwell is off the bench and onto his feet. Rodwell is someone who, in the 11 games he's played this season, start 10 of them, he played every single second of this campaign until Pierre and Odenhall came back from injury. The New Zealand native is in for an incredibly bright future. And while I'm sure there's some inward disappointment that he's not the day in, day out starter anymore with Pierre back, I would say there's a 95 and above % chance that he is the starting center back next season, with O'Hara probably leaving the program after this year, being at this program since 2018. But Rawa, just a freshman, experienced with the New Zealand youth national team with their U20 squads. Although a DMP a couple of times this season, when he has been in, I was awfully impressed. Play resumes in the 82nd minute. Of course, Tasaris doesn't even think about playing it short. It's going to go long every time at this point. Bonilla keeps it in. His stamina is unmatched. Ortiz, Hendell. Takes it backwards. The clock definitely their friend. Rodwell over to O'Hara. Now the fourth Bulldog gets involved in the press. Arteaga plays it smartly to Hendell. Hendell loses it. Five Bulldogs bombarding forward. Heavy touch outside of the box and into Tasaris, who almost gets clattered with. The Gonzaga player hops over him. Oh God, a lot of subs coming. There's gonna be 6 subs for Portland, 1 for Gonzaga. Jorge Aspas, the Spaniard, coming into the game, while 6 University of Portland players come into the game. A mass substitution by the definition of the word. Leaving the game, Cortez, Hendell, Bonilla, RJ Stretch, Ortiz, and Artiega.
Number 25,
Kagramanian, number 25, comes in for Cortez in the center of the far. Tracy as well, who's been a relatively surprise start these last couple of games, comes in the heart of midfield as well. Frankel's in, Odenhall is in. We know Rodwell is in. Michael Hatcher even into the game. Hasn't had a ton of time this year. Eligibility-wise, he's just a freshman, number 32, a taller fullback at 6'3". Good physical presence there. Portland never wants to in the future. That's definitely a 3-back potential with him as one of the outside center backs. Kato into the game, flanked by Fofana through the middle. Number 26, Babale, who scored the 4th goal via a pen, still in the contest. That should wrap up the subs, I believe. One more coming in for Portland, Cornfield Saunders. Cornfield, not his first name, a hyphenated last name to clarify. Here's Frankel. The move doesn't work on the dance floor, but still fighting for it on the turf. Almost went the throw, and it's going to stay in play. Okay. Back to Tasaris. When Portland was up 5-1 against San Diego, they even subbed George Tasaris for the backup Viola. Fofana hits the deck, hard on the press. Aspas reads the pass to the left, trying to switch the field of play, but Odenhall is there. Odenhall and Bonilla, the two incredible attacking fullbacks, but against, above 500 great teams, the WCC like Gonzaga, it's hard to play two of those at the same time. My 2 cents on why RJ Stretch probably started this game. Now you see Odenhall as the more attacking fullback on the far side of the pitch. Hatcher, the more reserved defensive defender on the near side. It's a cluster in the midfield. Gonzaga comes out with the treasure. Fake cross, handed off to the top of the box. Gonzaga wanted to hit, they don't get it. Kagramanian shouldered off. That's going to be a foul. Gonzaga not happy about any of these calls. Now more boos coming from Gonzaga.
The men's soccer team will host the Pacific Tigers here at Merlo Field this Saturday at 7 p.m.
Used to be O'Hara down. And Aaron Lewis and Nick Carlin Voigt share a word with each other. Probably not a good game right there, as Lewis is implying going down on the turf without necessary cause, while Nick Carlin Voigt yells back, I'm subbing, I'm subbing. That is true that he is subbing in Keely Cornfield Saunders. O'Hara is up and able to walk largely on his own with the help of a trainer. Keely Cornfield Saunders goes into the game. Just shy of 4 minutes to go. Pilots up 4-1. Once this game concludes, we'll have to get off the air relatively quickly on the WCC network. But it's been a hell of a game. 2-1 at halftime. I reiterate a couple of times, I don't think the goal scoring is done just on how fluid this game was. Clock still has not resumed. Referee talking with Nick Carlin-Voigt. Maybe it is pertaining to players going down. Not quite sure. Obviously can't be right by them. Gonzaga's streak will extend 6 years now, not being the University of Portland. 2015, a 2-1 overtime win was the last time the Zags got 3 points, let alone a point against the University of Portland. The streak will not be changing tonight, as with 3.5 minutes, Portland merely has to run out the clock, and the 3 points is theirs. The WCC placement is bettered, and Gonzaga falls down the tight West Coast Conference standings. Fofana's backheel touch goes to Garibay. From a neutral's perspective, it's been an incredibly enjoyable game. Obviously, if you're a University of Portland fan, it has been too. Fofana trying to put his back into the defender, make him make a mistake without leaving his feet. Joe Corner, number 22, left his forward position, trying to come and grab the ball. Doesn't get it. Now Corner does. Joe Corner from Salem, Oregon. About 45 minutes south, and last 30. Cato, clock stopped. Gonzaga probably didn't want it to, they wanted to go quickly. And Cato will get the yellow card. Cato is someone who is desperately trying to get that first goal in purple. From Montverde, Florida. He's consistently gotten bench appearances, has yet to get a start, but he's always someone who looks like to be having so much fun and so much passion when he's on the pitch. The only time I really saw him frustrated was against San Diego when they were up 5-1 with about this much time left in the game. He desperately wanted that first goal. He doesn't care if it's a game winner or the 5th goal in a 4-1 rout. He just wants to pierce the back of the net and mark, hopefully, a fiery start to his University of Portland career. Fofana gets taken down from behind. Nope, it's going to be on Fofana, and it's going to be a restart for Gonzaga. Zags try switching the field of play. All happens as it goes to Paul Odenhall-Hatcher, who started as fullback. Once Keely Cornfield-Saunders came into the game, goes now to center back. Odenhall. Hit to the ground. Game, understandably, getting a little bit chippy late when you're down 4-1. You don't have the biggest smile on your face. Cato has Frankel near him. Going to go back to Odenhall. A convincing second half for Portland. Sees them go up 4-1 with 1.5 minutes to go. Portland will trickle closer to the upper 30s in the RPI, depending on what else happens. Last time these teams met, not too long ago, March 21st. Portland won at 2-1. They're going to do it 4-1 today, if not more. Here's Cato. Body's on the ground. He keeps playing. Smart, there was no whistle. Frankel on his left. Gets it back. The return blocked. What can Gonzaga do now? Portland had their worst record since 2015 last season, 3-4-3. This year they're going to move to 8-5. Nick Carlin-Voigt, we saw just how good of recruiting classes he's put together. 2018 top 10 class. He's brought in big names to this program, and they're really starting to deliver. But then again, veterans like Hendell, like O'Hara, still the spine of this team. Frankel has it with his right, blocked again. Greg Tracy couldn't quite control the deflection. 30 seconds to go. Keeley Cornfield. Saunders over to Tracy. Really good ball to Cato. Takes it down definitely on his right. Outside of the box. Can Bobble score a second? Over to Cato. Tries the cross. And that's just going to about do it from Merlot Field. The University of Portland's going to move to 8-5, while Gonzaga falls to perfectly 500 on the season and the WCC, 7-7, 2-2. Portland moves to 3-1 in conference, and those playoff hopes at one point, they looked poor. Went to exactly 500, but now have won their last 3, beating number 15 Loyola Marymount, beating the team that was tied with them in the WCC, and they still have big games coming up. They truly control their own destiny. If you're a University of Portland fan, you will love what you've seen at Merlot Field the last 3 weeks. A 3-2 victory, a 5-1 victory, and a 4-1 victory. The goals have been flowing, and it's been a hell of a lot of fun to call. Thanks for joining us on the WCC Network and the Portland CW. I'm Adam Sussman. We'll talk to you on Saturday against Pacific.